When I was younger, I had big dreams of what I wanted my home to look like. A big living room, a study area of my own, and a kitchen island. I wanted my space to have everything and anything I found pretty back then. Now that I'm older and the hustle and bustle of life have made me yearn for more things that are less extravagant. I no longer desired those loud and flashy colored wallpapers, but the calmness and simplicity of neutral shades. My preference shifted from bulky and expensive chandeliers to modern yet affordable pendant lights. Having an idea of what I wanted, I thought designing my house would be a breeze. However, I soon realized that I couldn't have been more wrong. I admit, renovating a space is no easy task. I was definitely unprepared for the sheer amount of work to be done. To remodel, I had to plan everything from scratch, redesigning the floor plan, identifying components of the house that required a contractor, calculating and allocating the appropriate budget, scheduling the works to be done, and managing the timeline, and so much more. It was a hassle, and I would not have been able to handle it on my own while juggling a full-time job at the side. I soon realized I was not knowledgeable or equipped enough to be able to do the renovations on my own without the aid of an interior designer. However, I was equally hesitant to engage an interior designer due to a few horror stories I've heard from friends and some online forums. I have heard of few situations of IDs producing results that were only subpar at best by the end of the renovation tenure. I could not imagine having to wait 6 to 9 months anticipating only to be disappointed by the final outcome. I was also warned that some companies might entice me with similarly cheap package prices in the beginning, only to reveal the hidden costs during the renovation process, where some of the significant components would knowingly be hidden from the final quotation and only be highlighted after the contract has been signed. And then in terms of style, I was also particularly selective. I would love for my home to have a minimalistic look. To me, minimalistic design is more than just having less stuff. It is also about finding the balance between a timeless aesthetic and functionality in my home. This is a rather difficult feat to achieve, especially if you're someone not knowledgeable about minimalism. So, I searched high and low for the most suitable and trustworthy designer for my new home. I started my search by looking for interior design firms that have the know-how in minimalist designs and are competent in renovation works. Being someone from the digital advertising background, I was fully aware that seemingly popular or renowned companies are often those that pay the most advertising dollars to the renovation portals to get themselves featured. And as far as most industries are concerned, popular and good are two different things altogether. So I figured I would cut through all the noise by doing my own research and due diligence rather than referring to pre-approved lists that shows up simply because of their marketing dollars. So what I did was, I scoured for reviews to learn more about how their previous clients actually feel about the company's work. Sadly, either their delivery was inconsistent or their portfolios just did not suit my taste. One day, I was looking around YouTube in search of minimalist home inspirations, and that's when I stumbled upon the Minimalist Society's YouTube videos. Their channel featured various projects ranging from Scandinavian to Muji-inspired homes, and there were educational videos such as mini tips, mini how-to, and simply home that allowed me to learn more about minimalism and how it is more than just an interior design style. There were tips on how to achieve and maintain it, as well as guides on how to declutter and personalize my home. Well, and since I've managed to binge watch most of their videos, that gave me a good idea of what the company is all about and what to prepare for when I reach out to them. With their focus being functionality and simplicity in a home, I quickly realized that their brand values resonated with me. Despite their positive first impressions, I was still unsure and had my doubts. So, I checked on their websites, social media platforms, and review sites like house.com to read up on previous clients' experiences. The more I read, the more confident I became that their services were for me. Without further deliberation, I finally booked an appointment with them. I set an appointment with one of their designers on Wednesday afternoon, and prior to the meeting, they were extremely helpful by providing me with a pamphlet that briefed me on what to expect, the materials to bring, as well as the directions to their office. It was quick to gather the things required, which was a physical copy of my floor plan and a rough estimate of my budget. I remember while traveling to their office, I was brimming with excitement that my dream home was finally on its way to becoming a reality. I knew I reached their office as soon as I saw a bright sign that said The Minimalist Society. Their office was an epitome of simplicity and class. A good mixture of pastel colors, wooden fixtures, and pops of greenery were in every corner of their studio. It was very similar to the designs that I had in mind, which made me even more optimistic about the upcoming appointment. One of the designers then escorted me to their beautiful kitchen island for a chat about their past projects as well as an overview of what the company was all about. I was surprised at how consistent their portfolio was, despite each homes being unique and different from one another. You could see their team synergy shone through from their past projects as they showed off their consistently good quality workmanship and designs. Real photos were also shown instead of 3D renderings, showing their honesty and credibility in their work. However, I was a little wary as I was afraid that this was going to be over my budget. So I shared my concerns with the designer, and to my relief, she assured me that the quotation would be done in a way that was according to my initial requirements and that we could still fine-tune the scope of works again along the way. After a few more sharings, the appointment ended with them assuring to get back with a quotation soon. As I walked out of the office, I remember feeling confident and happy that TMS was who I needed to fulfill my dream home. As you probably guessed, my home turned out exactly how I wanted it to be. Clean, simple, yet tasteful and functional. Throughout the whole process, TMS remained incredibly helpful and approachable despite all of my questions and doubts. They also explained the rationale behind their designs well and guided me throughout the material and color selections. Sure, there were just a few minor areas to fine-tune along the way, but they were able to see them through swiftly and smoothly. Even after the renovations, they gave me ample advice on how to maintain the house to look its best, which I really appreciate. Looking at my home right now, I feel like they did a great job in combining the aesthetics and functionality. The workmanship on each carpentry was superb, and the color palette really brings out the coziness you would want in a home. Because of their furnishing advisory, the furnitures that we managed to get really fits nicely with the color scheme and the design of the entire house. And after a few months of renovations, I'm finally stepping foot into my dream home. I'm incredibly grateful to have found the Minimalist Society, not just because of their designing expertise, but also their patience and honesty. Converting a house into a home is really more than just purchasing a few furnitures and painting a wall. It is about deciding what I want in my humble abode and being able to continuously maintain this space where I can rest and feel well at home. And I would say TMS definitely saw this through successfully. I hope that this short recount of mine gave you a little bit more insight into the Minimalist Society and how I hold them in high regard. However, you know what they say, there's no better experience than the experience itself. Therefore, let the Minimalist Society take you into the world of minimalism where you'll be able to find joy and simplicity in your living space.